All children arrive at school with their own unique set of background knowledge about reading and literacy. This knowledge may include letters, words, and books, and is developed purely through a child's own personal experiences. A child should be read to in order to help build this background knowledge and acquire basic literary knowledge, such as what a book is and how it should be read. Reading out loud will also help the child to develop phonic skills and invite them to experiment with sound and learn how to manipulate it. Along with phonics, reading aloud will also help children to learn vocabulary and some basic grammar that they will expand upon in school. The importance of a rich learning environment cannot be understated when it comes to developing early literacy skills. In order for children to learn the aforementioned skills, they must be surrounded by a rich learning environment that can foster creative and educational thinking. By giving children early access to many forms of literature, such as books, discussions, games, and educational tools, children can feel free to explore literacy and develop skills that will help them later on in their formal education.
Social interaction is very essential when it comes to the development of individuals. Various opportunities in regards to social interaction arise throughout one's childhood. Family involvement is very important to one's development since children will be exposed to people of varying ages and will gain communication skills while growing up with the support of parents or guardians, cousins, aunts, uncles, and grandparents. Children will gain additional communication skills when surrounded by peers and monitored in settings such as preschools, parks, and other community involvements. While in school preparation programs, children will gain experience by communicating with caregivers and other trusted adults who will facilitate the relationships and communication with peers.
Parents and guardians can get involved with their child's reading life by providing their children with educational books such as ABC books, rhyming books such as Dr. Seuss, and picture books. As a child grows, parents can either incorporate chapter books or beginner chapter books. Parents can also provide their children with materials to help them explore their creativity. By using crayons, markers, or coloring books, this can spark a child's creativity. Parents can ask their children what color is which and have them sound it out or spell it. Parents or guardians can also get involved when helping their child learn how to read by reading with them daily and also helping them sound out words when reading. Parents can also use reading flashcards to help children read and sound out words. Parents can also take their children to libraries to stimulate reading. Lastly, parents can get involved in their child's reading life by having stimulating conversations with their child to help the child's vocabulary grow and to help their child better understand what certain words mean. Different learning opportunities can arise for children because they can be introduced to new TV shows or movies that stimulate reading, sounding out, and spelling words. This will then expand the child's use of vocabulary and better their reading if they are reading along with the characters in the show. Children can also learn new words from one another if they are having conversations with other children or reading to one another. Families can have family meetings with their child to stimulate conversations, and family members can nicely correct a young child if a word is pronounced wrong so they can learn to speak fluently. New learning experiences can arise for young children who are a part of activities with other children. Children who are part of a sports team have the same interests and can learn from each other and grow their knowledge and vocabulary in regard to this one common interest. New learning opportunities can arise for children who are able to travel and learn new words from different places or learn about different cultures. Children can also go to their local library to stimulate learning and expand their knowledge of books. The more books children are exposed to, the more curious they are.
Many technological advancements have been incorporated into schools. In the early 2000s, many classrooms had chalk or whiteboards that were used for class lessons and notes, as well as projection and television carts. As the years progressed, some schools replaced the projectors with interactive smartboards that were able to access even more learning tools. The smartboards allowed the classroom to become a more interactive learning environment, since teachers would invite students to come and write on the board or even complete activities on the screen in front of the class. Schools would often have computer labs, where students were taught basic typing skills that could be used in their daily lives and futures. Throughout the years, schools transitioned from computer labs to laptop carts, which further allowed students to have access to endless resources. In modern classrooms, many school districts have opted for providing students with personal devices, such as iPads, laptop computers, or Chromebooks. The gradual change in technology has allowed students to play an active role in their learning. While many advancements have been made in some schools, others may not have had the funding or desire to integrate the modern technology platforms into the classrooms.
Students come to first grade with all different skill sets because in some states, kindergarten is not required, so therefore not all children go to kindergarten. There will be some kids that have gone to preschool and kindergarten, and in some schools the case is that majority have gone, but not all schools. So then you will have those kids that have had no schooling, so you don't know what their knowledge is, what their home life was like, and what they were taught at home. So sometimes you could have a kid who comes into first grade that doesn't really know their letters or numbers because it wasn't taught at home. They didn't go to preschool or kindergarten. And then after first grade, the kids begin to be at a similar level in understanding and what they know because you have to know the same amount of knowledge as your peers to advance to the next grade. But kids also develop at different levels and learn at different speeds, so sometimes they are a little behind their classmates or just need more time to learn things. There are drawbacks if students start education later just because preschool and kindergarten teach a lot of those kids basic skills like their social skills, how to interact with the other children, how to share, how to play with other children. Sometimes parent separation can be very difficult, and if you start at a preschool level, when they're going to kindergarten and first grade, it's not as hard, and they will look forward to going to school because they're used to that. And then also, if children aren't going to preschool and kindergarten and their parents aren't helping them with letters or numbers or colors, they could be very behind their other peers who have gone to those grades because their letters and numbers are not as familiar to them as other kids. And in preschool and kindergarten, those are grades where you really learn the basics of letters and numbers, so when you get to first grade, it's easier for you to advance to what you're learning in that grade.
Finland has long been praised for its educational reforms that have pushed them to become one of the highest performing developed countries in the world. This can be attributed partially to the fact that their students do not start school until age 7, and therefore are very well prepared to begin school. Most children in Finland attend daycares before age 7 that focus on building social skills with their peers and adults in a way that immerses them in literacy, phonics, and semantics in the real world. This is vastly different from how students are prepared for school in the U.S., mainly due to the fact that since American children start school so young, they are far less prepared. They also must learn literacy, for the most part, after they begin school, whereas Finnish children can learn literacy through their experiences in the world.